Rocket League is a game that's all about flash and mechanics, right? Wrong. Most people think you need to focus on the flip resets, ceiling shots, and all those mechanics to hit SSL. But let me tell you something. The real key to hitting SSL isn't about grinding hours perfectly for those clips. It's about mastering the boring fundamentals. You've probably heard people talk about mechanics or hours in free play, and sure, those things are important, but they're not the real secret to hitting SSL. What really gets you to the highest rank is something much more dull. It's the foundation habits that will make you consistent, dependable, and actually ready to rank up. And the best part about this is anyone can master these, no matter what rank you're at right now. Today, we're going over the 4 most critical things you can start focusing on that will guarantee improvement: boost management, positioning, rotations, and consistency. If you dedicate time to these, you're going to see major progress. But if you're wondering, Dice, who are you and why should we even listen to you? My name's Dice. I'm a top 100 SSL most of the time. And what I do on this channel is I try to teach people how to rank up as efficient as possible so that you don't have to spend loads and loads of time playing Rocket League to get SSL, when in my opinion, you can get the highest rank while barely playing the game, and you can have time for other things in life, like spending time with your family or having friends. Let's get into the video. I want you to really think about what makes a player stand out at the highest levels of Rocket League. What makes Monkey Moon stand out? Is it his mechanics, or is it because he probably has the best positioning in the world? You see, it's not just the flashy moves, it's the ability to control the basics perfectly. Think about it. Players in SSL make fewer mistakes because they've mastered the boring fundamentals. Now let's break these foundations down. There are 4 key areas you need to focus on, which may sound really basic, but they're what separate SSLs from any other rank. And these basics are: number 1, boost management. Understanding how to use your boost wisely so you're never out of position or lacking speed or momentum when it matters the most. Number 2, positioning. Where you are on the field is often more important than being the one to touch the ball. 3, rotations. Knowing when to fall back and cover your teammates or move up to apply pressure. And number 4, consistency. Being reliable with basic mechanics like clears, aerials, and challenges. These 4 fundamentals are what you'll find every SSL player doing consistently without even thinking. They have this ingrained in their playstyle, and that's why they perform so well. But the truth is, it takes time, effort, dedication to focus on the boring stuff. And the key word here is focus. Most players want to improve, but they're focusing on the wrong things. Now let's dive into boost management. This is one of the most overlooked aspects of gameplay, and if you're not managing your boost properly, you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. Boost is the resource that fuels everything you do, whether it's moving fast to challenge a ball quickly, or rotating back quickly, or going for an aerial. You need boost to do everything. But how many times have you found yourself out of boost at a critical moment? What a lot of players fail to realize is that boost management isn't just about grabbing big pads whenever you can. Small boost pads are your bread and butter. Think about it. There are 28 small boost pads scattered across the field, each one giving you 12 boost. Grabbing just 2 or 3 of these as you rotate can keep you in the play without needing to go leave the play and get 100 boost pad, which often pulls you out of position. Let's break this down even further. If you're rotating back, you should be feathering your boost. That means using it sparingly so you always have enough to stay in the play. Most players burn through their boost as soon as they get it, but SSL players know how to conserve it. Feathering allows you to move efficiently without wasting your boost. Watch any pro match and you'll see players constantly grabbing small pads as they rotate or as they're moving through plays. It's obviously not flashy, but it is a huge difference between staying involved in the play and leaving your team completely vulnerable by leaving the play. Another thing to consider is how boost control affects your positioning and decision making. When you have 30 or 40 boost, you can still challenge effectively or make a quick save. You don't need to always have 100 boosts to make a difference. Prioritizing small pads, knowing when to use your boost, and understanding how to stay at really high boost all game is what separates lower ranks from SSL. Next, we've got positioning, and I can't stress enough how important this is. Positioning is everything in Rocket League, and it's not something you can just get after watching this video. It takes thousands of hours to master positioning, and I don't even have it mastered, but one of the biggest mistakes lower ranked players make is that they're constantly ball chasing. They think being near the ball is always the best move, but if you want to climb ranks, you need to understand that where you are in the field matters way more than how many touches you get on the ball. Let's break down positioning into a few key concepts. Number one, the first concept, the back post. This is your best friend in defense because when you rotate back to defend, you want to position yourself at the back post, pretty much behind your teammate, so you have a better angle to save shots and react to play. No shot can be behind you if you're at the back post, and you can obviously boost forward and not backwards. Number two, don't ball chase. Yes, it's tempting to always be in the middle of the play, but that's not how the game works at the highest levels. If you're constantly chasing the ball, you're not giving your teammates space to work, and you're likely leaving gaps in your defense. And number three, anticipation. Positioning isn't about reacting to the ball after it's been hit. It's about predicting where the play is going. This means positioning yourself in a way that you're ready for the next hit rather than chasing the ball once it's already been hit. Positioning also ties directly into game awareness. At lower ranks, you'll see players clumping together, all trying to get the ball, but at higher ranks, players are way more spread out, they're rotating, and they're waiting for the right opportunity to actually attack. They're not forcing the play. Being in the right place at the right time means having the patience to wait for the play to develop and knowing when to go for the ball. It's boring, sure, but that patience and positioning are what allow SSL players to make the plays that they do. Let's talk about rotations. Rotations are the glue that holds your team together. Without proper rotations, your team is going to crumble. No matter how good your mechanics are, the hardest part about mastering rotations is that it requires discipline. You have to know when to kind of give up on a play, rotate back, and when to cover your teammates. A solid rotation system is the reason why, if you ever watch RLCS, their rotation, it seems so organized. And if you watch just like a random plat 3v3 game, the team, it feels like a chaotic mess. The basics of rotation are actually really simple. When you're rolling the plays over, you rotate out, but here's where it gets tricky. Knowing when your roll is over isn't always obvious, because a lot of players tend to overcommit because they want to stay in the play for longer, but this often leads to leaving your team exposed. Let me explain the standard rotation system in a bit more detail. In a 3v3 context, you've got 3 roles at any given time. You have your first man, your second man, and your third man. The first man is the one challenging the ball. Once they've challenged, they need to rotate out to let the second man move up. The second man is there to either follow up on the first man's challenge or pressure the ball if it's in a dangerous position. The third man is the player that's always holding back pretty much no matter what, ensuring that the goal is always protected and the team has defensive coverage. This constant rotation cycle is what keeps your team balanced between offense and defense. But here's the key. Everyone needs to rotate for this to work. Last but not least, consistency. This is where a lot of players get it wrong. Sure, pulling off a flip reset or hitting a double tap is cool, but those mechanics don't mean anything if you can't consistently make basic plays like clearing the ball, saving the ball, or aerialing up to the ball. Consistency is what wins games, whereas mechanics might win you a goal, but consistency is what's going to help you win a series of games and actually help you climb MMR. Let's move on to consistency, which is without a doubt one of the most underrated aspects of Rocket League. People think mechanics are what makes a player great, but let me tell you, consistency is actually what makes a player reliable. And in the long run, reliability wins games. It doesn't actually matter if you can pull off the most mechanically insane plays one every 50 tries. if you're inconsistent with the basics. Consistency is the ability to hit your aerials, clear the ball, challenge every single time. It's about being able to reform the basics under pressure. It's not about doing the same thing every game. It's about being able to react to situations predictably and ensuring that you don't overcommit with or make poor decisions. In SSL, players aren't always flashy, but they're incredibly consistent. They make the right play every time, and that's what's actually important here. So how do you build consistency? Well, this comes from repetition and, unfortunately, patience. You have to practice the same simple mechanics over and over and over again until they kind of become second nature. And yes, this is the boring part of Rocket League, practicing aerials, dribbling, shooting, and clearing over and over in free play. But this boring practice is what builds your ability to execute under pressure. The more consistent you are with the basics, the more successful you'll be. Think about this. Would you rather be the player who can hit a flashy double tap once every few games, or would you rather be the player who can always clear the ball perfectly, always keep possession of the ball, always have a really threatening shot, just being a really scary player no matter the situation? The answer is you'd rather be the second person. Consistency does not mean perfection. It just means being able to do the right thing 9 out of 10 times. That's what you want to aim for if you're actually looking to hit SSL. Every time you play, focus on the small details. Did you hit that clear with power and accuracy? Did you make the right rotation after your challenge? These are the small things that separate consistent players from the rest. And over time, if you practice this consistency, you'll notice fewer mistakes in your gameplay, which means fewer goals conceded and more opportunities for your team to win. It's not the most exciting process, but it's the most effective by far. So let's bring everything together: boost management, positioning, rotations, and consistency. These are the 4 pillars that will build the foundation for you to reach SSL. And yes, they are boring, and they're not the things you'll see in highlight reels because they don't really look that cool either, but they're the things that actually get results. By focusing on these fundamentals, you'll see your game start to improve across the board. The key takeaway here is that SSL isn't about doing everything perfectly every single time, but it is about doing the right things consistently. It's about minimizing your mistakes and playing smart rather than trying to be flashy. When you can master these boring habits, everything else will fall into place. The mechanics will come, but only if you have a strong foundation and these fundamentals. If you want to get SSL by 2025, commit to the grind. Make sure you're focusing on these 4 things every time you play. It might feel like a slow process at first, but trust me, the results will come. And once you start seeing those results, whether it's better rotations, fewer mistakes, winning more games, ranking up, it'll all be worth it. And the boring stuff, that's what actually makes a difference. So there you have it, the 4 boring but crucial things that will get you to SSL. If you found this video helpful, drop a like and subscribe for more content like this. And I'm not saying that this is the best way to improve overall, but I am saying this is the absolute best way to rank up. If you want to improve without ranking up, watch any other video I have. But if you want to get the highest rank and you don't really care about improving your mechanics, this video is the complete truth. Join my Discord server if you guys want to contact me directly. That's the best way to get in touch with me. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.